Have you ever stopped to think about the money on your phone or computer? It isn't made of paper or metal, it's just a number on a screen. When you buy a coffee with your card, that number goes down and the coffee shop's number goes up. This all seems very simple and works most of the time. We trust our banks to keep track of these numbers for us. They are the central authority in charge of our digital money. We rely on them completely to manage our finances, to process our payments, to ensure everything is recorded correctly and securely. But what if there was a problem with this system? Imagine you have £10 in your digital wallet. You could try to spend that same £10 in 2 different shops at the exact same time. This is called double spending. It's like trying to photocopy a real £10 note and use it as real money. With physical cash, this is very difficult to do. But with digital information, which can be copied perfectly, it is a real risk. To prevent this, we need someone in the middle to check every single transaction. That someone is usually a bank or a large financial company. These intermediaries hold all the power. They have large, private ledgers that keep a record of who owns what. We cannot see these ledgers. We simply have to trust that they are honest and accurate. They can freeze our accounts, block payments, charge fees for their services. This central control makes the system less open and less fair. It creates a single point of failure. If the bank system goes down, or if it is hacked, our ability to use our own money could be completely compromised. What if there was another way? In 2008, a mysterious person called Satoshi Nakamoto had a brilliant idea. Or a mysterious group called Satoshi Nakamoto had a brilliant idea. They published a paper online describing a new kind of digital money. It was called Bitcoin. This new money was designed to solve the problems of traditional digital finance. It aimed to get rid of the need for banks or any central authority altogether. The goal was to create a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. This means people could send money directly to each other, just like handing over a physical coin, but over the internet. It was a radical concept that challenged the very foundations of modern finance. The key to Bitcoin is a concept called decentralization. It is a big word, but the idea is simple. Instead of one company's computer controlling the money, the power is shared among thousands of computers all over the world. These computers are run by ordinary people. Anyone can join this network. There is no single boss, no CEO, no central office. This network works together to check and approve every single transaction. Because the control is spread out, it is incredibly difficult for any single person, company, government to shut it down or manipulate it. This decentralized nature makes Bitcoin fundamentally different from the money in your bank account. The secret ingredient. Imagine a special kind of notebook. This notebook is not kept in one place. Instead, an identical copy of it is given to every single person in a very large group. When someone wants to add a new entry, like Alice pays Bob 1 Bitcoin, they announce it to the whole group. Everyone then checks their copy of the notebook to make sure Alice actually has the Bitcoin to send. This is essentially how a blockchain works. It is a public shared record book distributed across a huge network of computers. This ledger is made up of blocks. Each block is like a page in our notebook. It contains a list of recent, verified transactions. Once a block is filled with transactions, it gets added to the end of the chain of previous blocks. Each new block is cryptographically linked to the one before it, creating a strong and unbreakable bond. It creates a permanent, chronological history of every transaction that has ever occurred. Let's walk through a simple example to see how this all comes together. Imagine Sarah wants to send 1 Bitcoin to her friend Tom. First, Sarah uses her private digital key, which is like a secret password, to authorize the transaction from her Bitcoin wallet. This action creates a digital message: I, Sarah, am sending 1 Bitcoin to Tom. This message is then broadcast to the entire decentralized network of computers. Think of it as an announcement made in a very large public square for everyone to hear. Once the transaction is announced, it goes into a waiting area called the mempool. This is a pool of all the recent, unconfirmed transactions. Special participants in the network, known as miners, then get to work. They grab a large number of these waiting transactions from the mempool and gather them together. Their job is to verify each one. They check their copy of the blockchain to make sure Sarah has the 1 Bitcoin she is trying to send. They ensure she hasn't already tried to send that same Bitcoin to someone else. After verifying a batch of transactions, the miners bundle them into a new block. To add this new block to the blockchain, the miners must solve a very difficult mathematical puzzle. This process is called mining, and it requires a huge amount of computing power. The first miner to solve the puzzle gets the right to add their block of transactions to the chain. As a reward for their effort and the electricity they used, they are given some newly created Bitcoin. This is how new Bitcoins enter the system. Once the puzzle is solved and the new block is added to the chain, the transaction is complete. We have seen how Bitcoin uses a decentralized network and a public ledger called the blockchain to create a new kind of money. It is a system that is controlled by no one and owned by everyone who uses it. This removes the need for us to place our trust in large, powerful institutions to manage our finances. It offers a world where we can send value across the globe as easily as sending an email without asking for permission, without paying expensive fees. The implications of this are enormous, not just for money, but for any system that relies on trust and record-keeping. The journey into this new financial world can seem daunting at first. The ideas of decentralization, cryptography, public ledgers are new to most of us. However, the core principles are about giving power back to the individual. It is about creating systems that are more transparent, more resistant to censorship, more accessible to people all over the world. Many people in developing countries do not have access to traditional banking, but with just a simple smartphone and an internet connection, they can access the Bitcoin network and become part of the global economy. Of course, the technology is still young and evolving. It faces challenges with scalability, energy consumption, and regulation. But the fundamental idea is powerful. Hit like and subscribe to start mining smarter, not harder. I encourage you to now learn more about the fascinating and competitive world of Bitcoin mining.